You attract what you expect. You reflect what you desire. You become what you respect. You mirror what you admire. You will lose what you neglect. You will get what you require. You'll regret if you forget. That's why we do this, to inspire. My name is Harley Neville. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast.
Who was that? Fuckhead.
That was Mr. Traumatic.
Yeah, well, he gave me trauma. Listen to that.
Why? What was wrong with that?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it was pretty true.
A big old load of shit.
You attract what you expect. It's true. You reflect what you desire. I think that's true. You become what you respect. Again, if you respect certain things, if you respect the wrong things, you might become like them. You know, you got to respect good things. You mirror what you admire. That's saying the same thing again. You will lose what you neglect and get what you require. It's true, right? If you're hungry, you'll find food somewhere, generally. Deeply
traumatic opening lyrics.
Now, I do actually have beef with Mr. Traumatic. There is actually, I've got some beef with Mr. Traumatic after an online confrontation. So he's a UK-based drum and bass MC. So
he's like the fucking Streets. That's what that reminded me of.
No, but this guy really raps, and he's really good as well.
You go, so this is a real rapper as opposed to a guy that just talks over a beat with like not a shred of musical talent.
Yeah.
You say this guy is not like the
Streets.
No,
it's not like him. Mr. Traumatic, with a K at the end of Traumatic, is not at all like that. He is actually a really insanely talented MC, and you can really hear it in his lyrics and just the different flows he's got, and he tends to rap over drum and bass, so he's quite fast and all that, and overall, like, I actually really like him. But one of the things that he does rap about quite often is he'll talk about science and science related stuff, but then he'll also talk about his chakras and like opening your mind and, you know, all of that kind of hippie nonsense as well, and being woke and all of that stuff. And so I thought it was kind of a joke. I thought it was like part of his intelligent sort of joke that he was doing, you know, like, ha ha ha, it's a bit tongue in cheek. But then he posted something and I commented and he saying something about how that's all bullshit. And he was like, no, that's fully real. I totally agree with this. And then I was like, okay, that's fine, I guess, no big deal. But then the pandemic happened. And during the pandemic, while everyone was like, oh shit, we better be careful of this, he was posting like it's all a big conspiracy and you shouldn't, you know, listen to the government and don't stay in lockdown and don't get a vaccine if one comes out and all of that type of thing. And all I commented was, if you get your medical advice from a rapper, you're going to have a bad time, okay? That's all I commented. Not even to him, just on his post.
Sure.
And he blocked me. He blocked me from commenting on his page. And so I was like, oh, well, I've lost all respect now. Come on. That was not a blockable offense. That was certainly not a blockable offense, Mr. Traumatic. And so I was blocked from his page, and so I unfollowed him everywhere. I was like, oh, fuck this guy. So I deleted his music from my Spotify. I unfollowed his Facebook page.
Never comment on your hero's Facebook posts. That's what they say.
That's what they say.
Never comment on your hero's Facebook posts.
Yeah.
You'll always be let down.
Well, I was let down. And so, but then he kind of started sneaking back into my sort of sphere again recently because he got...
filter bubble,
my
your
bubble,
echo chamber.
My bubble, yeah. He managed to infiltrate my bubble again through like the release radar on Spotify type thing. So they knew that I listened to him way back when, and then so they, they've started putting his new songs in my lists, and so that's why that's where that song came from. And they're quite good songs. He's got a lot to say. He's filthy though. He's got a real, like, he says a lot of stuff. You're like, how'd you get away with that? Or maybe you didn't get away with that. Some of it's like really offensive and crass.
What's an example?
Obviously I'd need to find the exact lyrics for it to do it justice, but skinny, hang on.
Bringing it up live.
Yeah.
We're bringing it up live like Joe Rogan brings up things live on his podcast.
Yeah. I'm just searching for it, but I'm doing it the long way. Here we go. I remember being like, oh, this is a bit much, mate. All right. I want to see serious stuff. Jammer, can't you be serious, blood? Just kill yourself by taking some tablets and swallow them down with period blood. And if MCs want to test me because I'm skinny like Ethiopian dudes, well, I'll put out your mum's insides and force feed her fallopian tubes. I was like, ugh. All right, okay.
Sick.
The skinny like Ethiopian dudes, I was like, that's a bit racist, isn't it?
Yes.
It's probably a racist. That's probably overtly racist, perhaps, or it could be construed as such.
Yep, for sure.
To suggest that all people in Ethiopia are skinny is a racist generalization.
Yeah.
So,
and also perhaps referencing the inequality that is present there in the country, which would make someone skinny.
Yeah, exactly. It's not their fault. It's the political conditions.
Yeah, well, sounds like an arsehole, this guy. Sounds like a total fucking arsehole.
I think he might be a fucking arsehole. I get the impression from his lyrics and from everything about him that he might be a fucking arsehole. But sometimes, you know, there are fucking arseholes that you're like, you're a fucking arsehole and I don't like you, but that's actually quite good.
But that's a good track.
That's a good track. That's
a good line. That's a sick line.
Yeah, exactly. Shout
out to Tyler Adams on the live stream.
Yes, Tyler. Tyler has sent us a couple of highlights lately, which have been uploaded to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Guy and Harley. And go search the Guy and Harley podcast on there, and you can see those. So shout out to Tyler. Thank you. Shout out to Tanya Wiley as well. She's been doing some great work with me. She said not to shout her out, so shout out Tanya.
Shout out to Tanya.
Yep.
I'm trying some of this blood orange, blackcurrant, chili, and rosemary.
Yeah. And how's that? It's got gin in it too. It's vegan.
I can't really taste the chili.
No, I didn't taste much chili either. Yeah. Well, for me, in my case, I'm cutting back on drinking a little, so I'm just having one beer on the show, just the one. Just gonna have one of these on the show. So no worries, just the one beer for me today. Being a good boy. Yeah.
Keep the beer drinking to a minimum.
Yeah.
Know your limits.
Yeah.
Oh. So only one beer.
Just one beer for me tonight. Got important stuff to do after the show.
So is Valentine's Day coming up?
Yep.
Tomorrow?
I was hoping you wouldn't mention that.
Valentine's Day tomorrow. What's your plans? What have you got? Got anything special planned?
Well, to be honest,
for she who shall be named.
For she who shall be named. Well, to be honest,
essentially.
To be honest, I didn't really even think. I didn't. A week or a couple of weeks ago, I did realize it was Valentine's Day coming up, and my heart sank, and I thought, oh. And then I was like, I'm just going to push this down. You know, it was like almost subconscious. It was like, let's just not even think about Valentine's Day.
Let's just not even deal with that now.
And I just like dismissed it, you know. And then I completely forgot about it until yesterday when I was at the supermarket and I saw somebody had drawn love hearts on the floor, you know, for Valentine's Day. And I was like, what the fuck? Crap. And I thought to myself, gosh, I should really... I'm literally at the supermarket. All it would take is a box of Chockies or something. You know, that's all it would take. But I was like, fuck Valentine's Day. Fuck it. And she who shall be named has not mentioned it in any way, shape, or form. So I was like, maybe I'm in luck. Maybe she doesn't know about it.
Maybe it doesn't exist in her culture.
She's not from here. What if, you know, she hasn't been here that long? You know, what if she just never really thought about it? You know, I could just get away with it this year. It's just under the rug. So to answer your question, I've done literally nothing. I've done literally nothing.
Sweep it under the rug.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Well.
So it's a weekday tomorrow as well. So she'll be working. Yeah.
Yeah, I, on the other hand, went all in to the supermarket.
Yeah. For who?
To buy a special lady friend.
Whoa.
Some Valentine's Day gear.
Back with your ex or something?
And not my ex. So there's someone new on the scene.
Wow, this is a quick announcement, eh? It takes me like 5 years.
Oh, 5 years. Well, yeah, 5 years.
Or, I mean, it took me 8 months after my
It
last...
took you a long time to even
Just
acknowledge
announce it.
the belief that
That it was over.
That it was over.
Yeah, it took me like 8 months or
She
something.
wasn't in the country.
She wasn't in the country. She had broken up with me.
She was with someone else.
She may or may not have been with somebody else. I remember when no, she wasn't with anybody else at that time when I announced it, because I announced it on the Facebook, not on Facebook, on Facebook and I had to decommission the in a relationship, thing on Facebook.
Well, thank God they've decommissioned that as a big announcement.
Yeah,
now.
I know, right? Yeah, I know, right?
Fuck.
Let's announce everybody's misery.
Yeah, is single.
Yeah.
Harley Neville is single.
Yeah.
And there's just a big, and everyone's like, "Oh, what happened? You okay? You all right, hun?
You're right, hun.
You doing all right, hun?
Now
what happened?
Now you can choose to post it or not. Now you can actually choose to do it. But so I announced it on the show. I believe it was episode 101. Girl number one, or is that what it was called? Babe number one. But that was actually referring to something you said, not something I said. But yeah, episode 101 anyway. You go back and listen to that. The announcement, should you want to do that for some reason. But it was several months after the event. Look, I'm a slow mover, methodical. Get it done, slow and steady.
Yeah, whereas I got no time to waste.
Yeah, straight into it.
Onwards and upwards.
So Valentine's Day is tomorrow.
Valentine's Day is tomorrow.
You've got something special planned.
I got something special planned. I've got something special planned. The most generic, straightforward possible thing that you could possibly do.
Cool. She'll recognise the effort.
Yes. Did I buy some chocolates at the supermarket? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did I buy my card from the supermarket? Yes.
Yeah.
Did I buy my flowers from the supermarket? No. I got the flowers from somewhere else.
Yeah.
To show I care.
Yeah. Nice.
Although I did, when I arrived at the supermarket, kind of go, are these better than my flowers that I just got at an actual flower shop?
Yeah.
And in which case, what the fuck have I done?
Yeah. Paid 4 times as much.
Yeah.
Nah, they'll be able to tell. She'll be able to tell from the quality of the wrapping and, the freshness of the flowers. They'll be able to tell. Shout out to hit that little dinosaur dancing on our screen at the moment.
Yep.
I think that means somebody followed us or did something along those lines on Twitch. So thank you very, very much for that. I need to get that set up properly. That used to fit on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like a good strategy, because this is the thing is I guess once upon a time, getting presents and stuff was really cool. But at 38 years old, they seem to have lost their luster a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the presents that people are likely to buy you aren't expensive enough. Right? Because we're white, rich, and privileged, right? And so it's like, did you get me a new podcast microphone? Because I would love a new podcast. I mean, actually, I wouldn't, but just get me an extra one. Great.
Yeah.
Did you get me a new camera? Did you buy me an expensive new audio interface? But we're talking ridiculous sums of money here that no one could possibly afford. But that's the kind of presents that I want now.
Yeah. You got to elevate your circles into richer circles. Because that's the type of thing rich people do give each other that shit.
That's true. That's the thing.
We've just got to befriend rich people.
But I can't afford to buy
give them a
that
good
level of present either.
You'll be giving them the box of chocolates from the supermarket, and they'll be giving you the red Komodo.
So maybe a strategy that I've sort of always thought of proposing is the no presents for anything deal.
Yeah.
That you just go with your girlfriend, you go, look, I'm not getting you anything, you're not getting me anything. And we're totally cool with that. No one's going to go, I'm not getting you anything, surprise, I got you something, and now you better feel bad.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is the deal. We're not getting each other anything ever. And then that way we just don't have to worry. You don't get that sinking feeling when Valentine's Day comes around.
Well,
you don't get that concern about around birthday. What do you want? Oh, just surprise me with something. Okay, here's a pair of socks. Was that a good surprise? Probably not.
Probably not.
Don't
even fit.
Yeah.
Not even your style of sock that you like to wear.
So,
Well, good luck to you though, mate. Good luck to you, because I feel like it is generally, I'm about to make a sexist generalization, generally the women that are more interested in Valentine's Day than the guys. Maybe I'm wrong. Please feel free to correct me, dear listeners. So good luck. Good luck finding that person. She's a hard road finding the perfect woman.
I'm not talking about
mate.
just Valentine's Day. I'm talking about all birthdays, Christmases,
I get
anniversaries.
Chicks love presents, though.
Everything.
Chicks love those presents. They love giving them and receiving them. They take joy from both aspects. I only take joy from receiving them.
Look, to be honest, like now to me, we're talking about the material things. If you're going to buy me a material thing, it's expensive.
Yeah.
If you paint me a picture,
or paint me like one of your French girls,
then that's fine. That's actually really cool. If there's some kind of thought behind it, or you get me like a little, someone got me a thing that said like a little eraser for rubbing out big mistakes.
Right. Yeah.
Because I write things.
Yeah, and you liked that, did you?
And I've still got that somewhere. I enjoyed that. A little Wolverine figurine that is, in my likeness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's cool. And preferably, won't cost anything. But if we're talking materialistic things, just give up. Unless you can afford to buy me the next Blackmagic camera, just give up now, because I won't be grateful.
Well, what about something small, like a converter, or an SDI to HDMI converter, or maybe a little zoom handle or something like that, although that might be quite expensive.
Well, for example, an HDMI to SDI converter is like $140.
Right.
Which I would feel guilty about them spending $140.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, 140, I reckon that's pretty reasonable for a
birthday.
A partner's present. Yeah, not Valentine's Day.
Not Valentine's Day.
Fuck Valentine's Day. But 140. That's all right.
Yeah.
And they'll get joy from it. Every time you shoot something, they'll know that you're using it.
Every time you plug in your camera,
you'll think of them. You'll slide it in and think of them. I've had people pay for tattoos. I think that's quite a good one, because they're paying for, even if it's not the full cost of the full tattoo, but it's just $100 or whatever towards a tattoo. It's like, wow, okay, now you have made your mark on my flesh forever now. That's a good present.
You won't forget that.
Yeah, exactly. So tattoos, that's a good one.
So Valentine's Day, sound off in the comments. Have you got your Valentine something?
Do you have a Valentine?
You can let us know.
So we're broadcasting live from Fortress, New Zealand. Mm-hmm. And we're in the devastated post-cyclone carnage of Cyclone Dovey. And it was meant to be last night. I slept with the window open all night because it was hot, and it was a bit windy, a bit blustery out there, but that was really it. Not much heavy rain, not much anything too serious. And then I checked the backyard today, just now, to see if there'd been any damage. Well, not really. I just went into the backyard, to be honest. I didn't expect there to be any damage. And then I noticed that there was suddenly a lot more sunlight on my back porch, and I was like, this is beautiful, this is great, and what's going on? And what I realized is the giant banana tree has half blown over, and so there's a big banana tree which was blocking heaps of sunlight, and now it's half blown over, and it lets lots of sunlight in, but it still hasn't fallen over, so it's still there, still alive, still good for the birds, I think. Possibly dangerous, might fall over while we're emptying something into the compost, maybe, but either way, it's fallen over halfway now. So actually the cyclone has renovated the house. It's improved. It's done some landscaping. It's improved the yard.
Well, look at my framing. It's not great, is it?
It's not great. Do you want me to fix that?
We could improve that. Well, hopefully the banana tree will fall over onto the compost and kill the giant rat that lives within it. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of hoping. There we go. There we are.
There?
Brilliant.
Your looking room's better than mine.
Well, it's not a competition, Harley. But yeah, hopefully it will. Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, but yeah,
I'm a bit middly. That's fine.
So yeah, and speaking of are flat. You know, we've been talking about and we've been sort of documenting our ongoing battle with the giant cockroaches.
The cockroaching.
Which reside here. And prior to, or was it last weekend? It must have been last weekend. It was last weekend. So I sort of got to talking to a friend of mine who is also a pro wrestler, and he was like, yeah, I work for pest control now. And I was like, really? What kind of pests? And he was like, well, you know,
cockroaches.
Everything, you know, but he was like rats, insects. And I was like, insects, yep, cockroaches. I was like, so I started talking to him, and he goes, dude, that sounds really bad. He's like, that sounds like you got a real serious problem right there. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, oh, let me give you some stuff. So he gave me some stuff just to, you know, some cockroach traps and stuff like that. And he gave me one of these, and, you know, we were sort of like, look, that trap is going to hold like one of our cockroaches. You know, you're thinking of the little, because he's like, is it the big American cockroaches? I was like, well, what do they look like? And he showed me, and I was like, yeah, that's the one. It's the giant cockroaches. And he's like, oh, yeah, they're bad. He's like, so anyway, but he offered to come round and spray the house.
We talked about, you told all of this so far.
Okay.
Last week.
Yeah. But we haven't really, so I've been waiting daily.
Yeah, for them to dissipate?
For the cockroaches to sort of re-emerge.
Right.
And I feel like we've struck a blow. I feel like this is the sort of...
So you think it worked?
Well, it definitely has worked to a degree. So normally when I used to drive past my front porch, 7 or 8 cockroaches would scatter from the light.
Yeah.
Right? When I'd go around the back, as I'd walk up the stairs to my back after the cockroaching hour, I'd walk up the stairs, a couple of cockroaches would scurry away and hide.
Yeah.
And then when I came out here to the deck, and I would be in the studio, I'd come out of the studios, just the pitter-patter of tiny feet.
Yeah.
The pitter-patter of tiny feet just going constantly across the deck. Yeah. And then occasionally my dog would like lunge at one of them.
Yeah.
And so... all of that has ceased. All of that has completely ceased.
Yeah.
They're nowhere to be found, except sometimes you'll find ones like...
I wonder if he did my side of at the stairs and stuff on my side.
He did.
Oh, that's good.
He went right around the house.
Great.
But he said, he sprayed everything, and I did find like a row of sort of 11 dead cockroaches.
Cockroach corpses.
All dotted.
Did you pick them up and mush them down the drain in the bathroom?
I didn't need
with
to.
Your shitty poo-covered toilet scrubbing
That would make no sense for me to take cockroaches from outside inside.
Put them inside, yeah. Like a cockroach funeral.
I left them out there.
Yeah.
And of course, the birds did the rest.
Yeah.
So it's actually quite hard now to assess... You know, because essentially they'll get killed and then the birds or the ants will take them away.
Yeah.
So you can't like kind of keep a death toll of all the cockroaches.
It's just like what the Vietnamese used to do, the North Vietnamese used to do in the Vietnam War, Viet Cong.
What did they used to do?
They used to carry away their dead so that the Americans and New Zealanders and Australians couldn't tell how many they'd killed. So they couldn't tell if they'd killed anybody or not in these firefights. And they couldn't keep a tally of how many people they'd actually killed because they'd take away the bodies of the dead. You know, they'd sneak out at night just to get the bodies and take them away in order to disguise their numbers, stuff like that. So the cockroaches are doing something similar.
Well, yeah, anyway, so... I feel like we've dealt a blow. To me, this is Star Wars, A New Hope. We've blown up the first Death Star, which is a big blow to the Empire.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't know if we've really, truly ended the Empire or whether they will rebuild a new, bigger and better Death Star.
Yeah.
So...
we'll see. I think it's going to weaken them for sure.
But they'll return and in greater numbers.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I was wondering if it had worked as well because the other day I was sitting at my desk and I was just minding my business and I felt something gently brush up against my leg under the desk, and I knew it was something that shouldn't be there. And so I jumped up, and what was it, of course, but a giant cockroach who was walking on the inner wall of my desk, and it was so big that his antennae had reached out and brushed against my leg, gently caressed my leg. And I was like, you just gently caressed the wrong motherfucker. And I ran for the poison.
Yeah.
I gassed him, a horrific death.
Yeah.
And so I got him and I was like, okay, well, there's still cockroaches around. And then there was a little one, which is a rarity. I never see little ones, but there was a little one in my room, which I had to get as well. And then there was another one. I went into the bathroom, and this one was almost cute because he was at the top of the shower, and he had climbed up a pipe, sort of a hollow bit in the shower, and come out the top, and he was just poking his head over the top and looking at me with his antennae, whatever they are, bouncing around and sort of waving around. And I was like, that's almost cute. It's a shame that I'm going to now murder you. So I got the spray and sprayed him in the face, and then he fell into the pipe, and I could hear him scuttling around in there, like still alive in this pipe. And then so I got some gaffer tape and I entombed him in his sarcophagus. And so and I was thinking, geez, did this work? But to be honest, since then, I haven't actually seen any. And so I was thinking, maybe it did work.
Well, so since then, I've saw one sort of panicked cockroach seem to be dying.
Yeah, lost and alone. Its entire family's been slaughtered.
Yeah, make a run into the house.
Yeah.
And I saw a little baby cockroach.
Yeah.
Because we killed all the
big ones.
The adult cockroaches.
Yeah, now the baby cockroaches got to find their own food.
And they've got to grow to the size of those cockroaches before they can mount their attack.
I tell you what, man, that generation will be a lot tougher than the previous generation because they grew up hard.
Yeah, because
they came up hard.
Essentially they've been vaccinated.
Yeah, they've been vaccinated against humans.
They've been vaccinated against the first wave of this, this cockroach spray. Yeah, and they made it.
Yeah.
So Lord knows how we're going to take on the big. But I'm just very happy that it's not a and I saw a couple just one make a dash across the deck the other night. But overall, it's been all quiet on the cockroach front. So I'm very happy. So shout out to Sam, Sam the Spartan, the warrior.
Shout out to Sam.
Sam
Thank
Black.
You, Sam.
He took care of that for us, and we are greatly appreciative.
While we're doing shout outs, shout out to Jamie Oxley on the live stream. He says, "Have we had jab chat yet? I'm in bed, sick when I should be at work." The wife thing. I don't know the wife thing. But he got the Rona. Thanks, I got the Rona. So Jamie Oxley seems to be saying that he got the Rona. Well,
sorry to hear that,
Jamie.
Get well soon.
Yeah.
And thank God you're vaccinated, brother.
Thank God you're double vaccinated.
You'll be probably feeling pretty chipper in no time.
Yeah. Even better if you've got that booster too, but just saying. But shout out to Jamie, and we do wish you the best. And then he's commented on his Heroes Facebook page. Oh, that's us.
That's us.
Good man. Good man.
Paulette says she hates the commercial present buying crap. So there you go. She's one for anti-Valentines.
Mm-hmm. Nocturnals, going the arty route.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
4 portraits. You'll be getting some goodies for that, my friend.
Yeah. So
that will guarantee you some good times.
Did you draw her like one of your French girls?
Tyler says just flowers, and he learned a while ago not to do the grocery store flower, no matter how great they look, because not to do grocery store flowers, no matter how great they look. No matter if they look better than the 5 times more expensive flowers. There is something, you don't want to be busted. See, this was what I was concerned about.
Oh, the wife reckons Jamie Oxley's got Rona, but he
says he's just
tested
sick.
negative.
He's fine.
Okay. All right. No booster for him.
Well, I'm looking at getting my booster this week.
Yeah.
But I have to time it, so this is the problem. I'm very busy now. Got a lot going on. And so I can't really afford to be feeling sick for a day or two or a week.
But you'd better, though, because today there was 800 and something cases.
Ooh,
it doubled,
she shot right up.
Like overnight, it doubled. And that's what they've been saying is going to happen. It's going to be doubling. It's going to be growing exponentially.
That's right.
The New Zealand's cases. So it's all go now. So we're all going to get it one day. It's just a matter of how protected you are.
Yeah.
So,
Better get out there.
better go get that booster, mate. Because if it grows exponentially, then you're going to be encountering somebody pretty soon, I'd say.
Yeah, well, it's definitely needs to be done. I'm probably I'm eyeing up Wednesday.
Yeah.
Eyeing up Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a couple of things on the horizon at the end of this month that I'm worried are going to be ruined by COVID. So one of them is a screenwriting lab for the film festival.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big event, and I could totally imagine this thing having to go online. And obviously that's me that needs to think about that and organise that and make that work. I guess it would essentially just be a big Zoom conference call. Hell, it might even be easier. But yeah, so there's that. And then the other thing too is that I got confirmation that I did indeed land the ad that I got last year, and then they postponed it to this year. It's back on, all official. They've booked me. I'm doing it. I'm doing the ad. So I'm quite happy about that.
Congratulations.
4.5 big ones straight in the bank. Well, minus tax and commission, which is actually quite a lot.
So can you talk about what the ad is for? Can you go into any details?
Well, it's a comedic role.
Yeah.
And it's for a car finance company.
Yeah.
So comedic role, car finance company, no dialogue, $4,500. Thank you. Thank you. I don't need to do much in the way of rehearsal or much in the way of learning any lines. Just show up and be funny. Which is actually what I did the other day too on the music video that I finally got to shoot as well. The rollerskating music video, which it went really well. But here's the thing: I did the shoot, and then I afterwards I was like, that went really well. And then I was like, wait a minute, my fucking fat hairy guts is going to be on TV. Because I can imagine this getting quite a lot of airtime. So my fat, hairy guts is going to be on TV because I'm dancing around in like short shorts and a shirt that's undone half the time with my fat, hairy guts out. I'm just humiliating myself on TV again, revealing my dad bod to the world. But I do think it'll be pretty funny. And I didn't hurt myself in the shoot or in the training, which was nice. I did take a couple of spills, but not too many. And so that was good. And tell you what, roller skating, mate. That's a workout. If you want to get strong legs and ass and core, roller skating. It's incredible. I was really feeling that. So and also it seemed like a good way to meet people if you were a bachelor and you were going to these classes, because it just seemed like there's a lot of people there you could potentially meet. And so that was really good. And I do feel a bit bad for my poor co-star though, because her name was Macarena, and I was sweating from head to toe profusely, like a joke, like a tap was turned on. Like if you were making a movie and you just position the tap just out of frame and then turn it on and then do a close-up of the actor from the eyes down to make it look like they're sweating a lot and it's just comical and silly. Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like, minus the tap. And so, I was just this dripping, sweaty beast, dripping on the hairy, so hairy. And the makeup lady, as Rita, bless her, she had to keep running up and patting me down with paper towels in order to stop me sweating so much. She had to reapply my makeup a million times. That was a lost cause straight from the beginning. It was like, oof, this is going to be coming off. And then, so not just that, but my co-star Macarena, she had to repeatedly hold my clammy, sweaty hand again and again and again. My little stumpy fingers, wrapped around her hand. Sausage fingers. My sweaty sausage fingers wrapped around her hand, and so she had to hold my hand while also being, spinning around with me, holding my hand and being forced to stare into my cold, dead eyes as well, all at the same time. And to make it worse, I was wearing this costume, which was, so it was short shorts, very short shorts, roller skates, and a gold long sleeve shirt that was kind of plasticky and was usually undone. And the entire costume had been fouled, obviously, by all of this sweating. And it was like literally soaking wet. The socks, the shorts, the undies underneath, all of it. And I had to change my undies halfway through for for a number of reasons, and but the jacket was this sort of clammy plastic jacket, and it became, I didn't expect this, it became wet on the outside. Wet on the outside for some reason. So, which meant that whenever my dance partner had to like touch my jacket, for example, when we were doing like a conga line type dance, she was touching it and it was wet. It was all wet. The whole thing was wet. And then, so I really felt bad for her. And then on top of all of that, you know, my shorts were really short and there was no ventilation in the studio. So all anybody could see or smell was my balls dangling down underneath my trousers. Yeah.
Serious. A serious case of ball sweat.
Yeah. Dripping onto my socks. Oh, I forgot to mention.
Permeating the air.
I forgot to mention that I had knee-high fuck-me socks as well, like thigh-high fuck-me socks on as well, pulled all the way up to my short shorts, and they were absorbing all of that ball sweat.
That had trickled down. All the way down from your balls to be caught by your fuck-me socks.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, boy.
So this is going to be on TV.
Not painting a pretty picture. You're not painting a pretty picture. And like, yeah, like if you, I mean, I'm sure that when she sort of reminisces with her friends about that day on set,
yeah,
it will be up there as one of the most horrific and disgusting that she's ever had to
tolerate.
Yeah.
As an actor, as a professional.
She would have been using all her acting powers.
Yeah, not to vomit.
Yeah, to act as if you were somehow not the most repulsive, repugnant, sweaty,
hairy, stinky, bald little man
that she'd ever seen in her life, that she never had to work with for a 12-hour day or however long it was. But that's great. I think it will be very funny, but it is an interesting thing to note, I suppose, that essentially these types of roles are designed, like, there's no way to sort of get around it, right? As these types of roles are designed to diminish and disparage you based on your look, right? Based on how you look.
It's baldism.
Baldism
is what it is.
They picked you as, like, they've picked your look because it is comical to them. Because it is amusing in an uncool way, in a very uncool, like, unattractive way. That is the point. You're uncool and unattractive, and you're dressed up in this skimpy, thing, showing just how disgusting and revolting you are. And that's funny to us. Us, the audience, that is hilarious to us, that we look at this and go, look at him. Look at that bald, hairy guy. What a joke. He's such a loser. This is so funny. I can't stop laughing because he's so disgusting. I'm so disgusted. I'm in tears of laughter.
That's what the shoot is all about as well. Is like, not all about, but there are certain aspects of the juxtaposition between her and me. So she's dancing extremely elegantly. Yeah. She's a professional, like a literal professional roller skater who's done this for years and competed and performed and done all sorts of stuff. And then she's also extremely beautiful. And so her hair is, blowing in slow motion, beautifully. And then there's me, sweating in slow motion, disgustingly, and that type of thing. So, but yeah, I mean, I think it'll be pretty funny.
It will be funny.
And hopefully I don't turn out too much the butt of the joke.
Well, I can't see how you can't.
Well, Harley, I don't really see how you can not be the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
No, but they're laughing with me, right, guy? They'll be laughing with me.
I really feel like it's kind of interesting because, like, essentially they're saying it's okay to laugh at you and how you look. But, if, that was put into a different context, right? You're a person
if it was just a fat girl.
Yeah, exactly.
If it was a fat girl. We're laughing at the fat girl.
Yeah.
We're laughing at the fat girl.
It's funny because she's fat.
It's funny because she's fat.
Everyone laughing at her, right?
Yeah.
She's uncool and fat.
Yeah.
But somehow it's okay if it's bald and hairy.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting double standard there.
It is. I mean, there's lots of those double standards. It's baldism, shinyism. There a lot of people actually have a lot of prejudice towards us shinies, and it hurts me. It hurts me, and it really, as a a downtrodden minority, I do feel, I do feel that pain. So this baldism has to stop. I mean,
but rather than stop it yourself, you'll be part of the problem by continuing to utilize these roles.
I'm actively empowering and building the stereotype.
Yes.
And by building the stereotype, I'm spreading the stereotype around as well. It's just like when they have, every time they have a pedophile on a TV show or something, 9 times out of 10, he's a bald guy, a bald white man. Do you have any idea how that feels to have my people associated with pedophiles?
Well, never mind pedophiles too. They're often serial killers. Often
are bald as well.
Yeah.
Glasses, Glasses and bald.
And in fact,
I'm just glad I don't have glasses
yet.
Yet.
And not only that, I even made that joke. This lady friend that I was with, I saw one of the old boyfriends, and he was
her old boyfriend.
One of her old boys.
Yeah.
He was like bald with glasses.
Yeah.
Or I don't even know if he had glasses. He was just bald, and I was like,
Did you see him in real life, or just
just a photo of him
picture?
sort of
Yeah.
thing? And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, serial killer there, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
And she laughed.
Yeah.
She laughed quite greatly at that.
Yeah, yeah.
She was like,
She's like,
oh yeah, I guess it's
oh, you.
it's so true. They are. They look like that. So anyway, there you go.
Well, I'll tell you something, mate. I've been getting into a lot of true crime stuff lately. And let me tell you, very few of them have been bald so far. Very few of the killers and rapists have been bald so far.
That's good.
In all of these true crime stories that I've been looking up, they've all been regular old hairy heads like you.
Well,
and the
let's not
listeners.
forget Ted Bundy.
Yeah, he was a good-looking guy with a full head of hair.
That was a whole part of it.
Yeah,
that was how
his charm.
Coerced them in.
See, you hairy heads are disgusting and dangerous.
He might not have been as successful.
Exactly. If he was bald, everyone would go, "Hey, he looks like a killer. I better stay away from him."
Don't get in the van. Don't get in the van with that guy.
Don't get in the van. Duh.
We all know that.
Yeah.
That was what misled people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I just dropped just before the show. I just dropped off She Who Shall Be Named at a baby shower. At a baby shower because one of her mates is having a baby, and so I was like, gosh, baby showers. Ugh. So, I pulled up outside the house and I opened the door and I pushed her out.
Yeah.
And then I slammed the door and then I screeched off. I peeled off in the Prius as fast as I could. The wheels were turning. I lost traction and I was kind of drifting and skidding around all over the place. And I was out of there as fast as I could. And once I was gone, she was there just with her bags and stuff. And there was 2 strips of fire, like Back to the Future, leading down the road.
Yeah.
And I was gone.
You were out of there.
I was out.
88 miles per hour.
Yeah,
you were out
got
of
it. You got it. Yeah.
And did your number plate spinning?
Yeah, it was just spinning on the ground.
Out of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we should also mention we did film a skit.
I was going to talk about that. Yeah, it was Unreal.
Using Unreal Engine. So it was a pretty cool experience.
This is a filmmaking podcast.
It's a podcast about our lives. And a friend of ours and friend of the show, Bernie, who is a very accomplished director in his own right, director of Killer Sofa. No, I'm all right at the moment. Thanks, mate. He has been working in Unreal for some of his projects, and he wanted to sort of continue to do something, and we're talking about doing a short which we're going to film here in the studio, and we kind of just wanted to test it out. So he brought his PC and everything in. Isaac came over and we shot a little skit. But what was super cool is that we could look at how it was going to look. In
real time.
Normally when you have a green screen or a blue screen set up, you go, well, just use your imagination. And you know, that's very difficult to do. And it's also very difficult to think about how you're going to light it and stuff like that, because you're like, well, I don't really know what this is going to look like. So, but whereas for us, he had his computer monitor right there and we could peer over the camera and see exactly the environment that we were going to be in, which was really quite fascinating to see in real time. So definitely enjoyed that Unreal Engine experience, and we're looking to do a bit more of that, I think. So.
And how long do you think this one will take to put together?
Well,
have you looked at the footage?
Yes, I have looked at the footage.
How's my acting?
Acting is good.
Okay, that's good. That's all that counts.
Yeah, I mean, you look like a tomato man. Tomato man.
I wasn't meant to look like Tomato Hitman.
Meant to look like Red Skull.
Like Red Skull, yeah.
From Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you did look a bit like Tomato Man.
Well, it's because I am the fattest skeleton that has ever been on television.
Well, it was pretty funny that there was a photo where you look really fat. Yeah. And you commented that.
Yeah, that's the fattest skeleton I've ever seen.
It was pretty funny. But it was interesting because we had some grand plans to kind of really make you up quite dramatically.
Yeah.
But the store that supplied the prosthetics needed to really give that Red Skull feel was closed.
Right.
And so we just had to paint your face.
Yeah.
And so obviously you're then just a bloated tomato.
Yeah. Yeah. Some chubby, round-faced cherubby tomato. Well, also though, I didn't want to shave my beard, so that would have affected the prosthetics.
Make it even more difficult. Refuse to shave your beard.
But to be fair,
have you ever heard of a skull with a beard, guys? Come on.
Hey, those exist. And also, have you ever heard of Luke Skywalker with a beard?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, in your skit. Where you play Luke Skywalker with a beard.
Well, yes, but the issue is I have to maintain continuity.
Well, so do I, mate. I've got an ad coming up. It's exactly the same.
Well, when's that ad?
On between the 22nd and 25th or something like that.
Plenty of time to grow that beard. Plenty of time.
This beard's taken ages to grow. What are you on about? At the bottom, this is as long as it is. Like, this is how long it's taken months and months to get however long it is at the bottom. So I haven't touched the bottom, you see. I never touched the bottom.
So the answer is, when is that going to be ready? Well, unfortunately, this is the problem, is that we are now getting clients into the studio, which means that actually I'm really busy. I've also just discovered something rather disturbing, in that essentially all of my courses may be online this year due to Omicron.
Right.
And
I was wondering about that.
And in doing that, there's now been this new template that is issued for all courses, which means that essentially I'm going to have to redo all the online components of my course in the next week to fit into this new template.
Right.
Which is real.
So you've just landed a whole bunch of admin that you got to fuck around with.
Yeah, which is really going to limit my ability to. I started editing the footage because I want to get it done quickly, but now I've been sidelined by this horrific amount of completely pointless admin.
Yeah. Oh, we get old Tyler Adams onto the job. Get Tyler onto it.
Well, Tyler says he treated himself to a Valentine's Day purchase. He's got a Zcam E2 M4 on the way, and he's got a Ninja V Plus for 4K recording. That is a pretty powerful combo. I delved very deeply into the potential of getting a Zcam before I got the Red, because essentially the Zcams are a cheap knockoff of the Reds.
No offense, Tyler, to your new present.
He'll know.
Your new present.
He'll know. And there's a lot to like about those Z-cams, but there was just a few things that kind of put off.
Oh, now he's got buyer's remorse. He's sitting there with buyer's remorse like, shit, why didn't I look better at the Red?
No.
I should have just paid that little bit extra. I was thinking about it.
It wasn't.
Guy Pigden says that the Z's are cheap knockoff.
No, because that's the problem, is that there's such a dramatic difference in price that you're either going to go, look, there's no fucking way I could ever afford a Red, but this is the sort of next best thing.
Yeah.
And it can do a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
And that's basically where it's at.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see what he comes up with there. And he says that needs me to shoot some chroma key stuff. Be happy to do that, Tyler. Just let me know what you need, and then when we reset up for something, the next thing, we can shoot that extra stuff for you. And one of the big advantages too, just to be a little bit nerdy with the Z-Cam, is he's talking about the slow motion options, which the Red Komodo does not have any really good slow motion options, whereas the Z-Cam E2 M4 does. So, but I've heard varying things about the quality of some of that slow motion stuff. But very interested to be. Look forward to hear him letting me know how that camera works out for him. So yeah, but Unreal Engine, yeah. So if I didn't have that mountain of work to do, I would have said by the end of this week.
I'm still waiting for the video where I played a fly.
That's coming too.
That was months ago.
Yeah, there's essentially a huge backlog of content that has just kept getting pushed further and further back.
Yeah.
Some completely already shot, some like half shot.
Yeah.
But there's probably like 10 different episodes, all in varying degrees of completion. But the bottleneck is always the same.
The edit.
And also my time. So because I've been focusing more on the studio and clients coming through and all that sort of thing, which is great, but it means I don't have time for my stuff. And to be honest, that's actually when I get that feeling that don't have enough time to create, it does make me want to just give up on everything. So when I got this, because I just saw this email about work and changing all these templates, and I was like, oh fuck, well there goes my entire week mucking about with this nonsense, and I'm really depressed. So I got that piece of news before the start of the podcast, and I was just like, oh, really? And so now I'm in two minds. I'm like, do I even bother? Do I simply just do my own templates, like what I've already done? But it's sort of like, it's one of those things. It's one of those things where it's like, eventually we'll have to shift over to this because the future is online.
Yeah.
So do I just kind of bite the bullet and try and knock out these courses in this new format now and accept because this year is going to be all about online? Or do I go, nah, and just see what happens?
I think you know.
Caution.
I think you know as well as I do that the answer is the former, not the latter.
Nah.
Get it done, mate. Just smash it out, get it done, and away you go. Don't have to worry about it anymore.
So, yeah, it's... See, this is the thing that I hate about teaching. Bureaucracy and admin.
Well,
and those two things will kill your passion for teaching quicker than any unruly student who doesn't hand in his homework, let me tell you. So it's got nothing to do, it's like the teaching side is great. That's really fun to see people grow and sort of evolve and innovate and create. But as soon as you got to do some dumb, boring admin, you're like, why the fuck am I in this? What's the point?
Well, mate, the point is mostly the money.
The point is pay the rent.
Pay the rent.
On time.
Exactly, yeah. Well, you get depressed when you don't have time for your personal creative projects. I feel the same when I'm not working on creative things. Another time I get depressed is when I dream about Viva La Dirt League. And I dreamt about Viva La Dirt League again last night and woke up depressed this morning a little bit. Because in the dream, Adam was mean to me. Alan was nice to me, but Adam was mean to me from Viva La Dirt League. And, it's just like, just wake up feeling depressed about those guys.
It's a weird dream.
I don't know. It is weird, but I guess it's because they're right there. They're so close to me in terms of my sort of, social circles and, all that type of thing. And then but they're doing what I would love to do, which is make a living out of creating content full time, but they didn't used to be. They used to be kind of around doing what I was doing. And now they're living the dream in every way. And I wouldn't really call it jealousy because I don't wish them. I wish them the best. I really like their content and all that type of thing. But I guess it's envy or something like that. It's like, oh man, every time I dream about them, I'm like, man, they're really just living the dream. Those guys just living the dream, and here I am, this fat middle-aged failure,
being made fun of in
a music video. and pretending I'm on a par with them. So
to be fair, they do ridicule funny looking people on their bald people too.
yeah. Well, look, the problem is they've already got a bearded bald guy who they work with all the time.
They've got
and he's a nice guy. And
go-to bearded bald guy.
And they've been working with him since before I ever worked with them. So when I came in and did a couple of things for them, they were already working with this guy, Hamish. And so he's been their bald beard guy for ages, and he's obviously just going to, bar him like moving to LA or something, there's going to be no need to fill that gap.
Well, not only that, they've also got another
the
bearded...
Richie McCaw ad guy. McCawsome.
They've got another bearded bald guy
yeah, they've got two
so
bearded bald guys.
So they've got a backup bearded bald guy.
Yeah.
Should one of them fail, they just bring in the other bearded bald guy. But there's no room for three. There's no room for three. Absolutely not.
They don't need three. There's only this looking like a fucking billiard table. The set looks like a billiard table. When you're looking down at on set from above, it looks like a billiard table with these fucking bald heads all walking around crashing into each other.
So you can't have that.
Can't have that. So yeah, but I had been meaning to, message them. I just haven't really got around to it and be like, hey, I'm still around, dudes. I'm still here if you need me. If any of your other bald, beardy guys like fall off for some reason, I'm just standing by, sir. Wait, there was another thing I was going to say about those guys, but can't remember.
Speaking of them, they've got a big, they're going to do another crowdfunding campaign on Tuesday.
Are they? Well, actually, know what I was going to say? I was going to say that I need to cut together a show reel using the footage, they've got a bunch of new footage, but also the footage from your Savage Filmmaker videos where I'm dressed up in various costumes, playing various different characters.
Being funny,
exactly. And I can be like, hey, so anyway, I hope you didn't forget about me. I'm still around. Here's my, here's my updated show reel, and look at all this funny shit I've been in lately. Comedic stuff, short form comedic skit shit. So that might work. Actually, Ellen hit like on one of my statuses the other day, so I'm still in the circle of influence.
What was your status update?
It was the music video one where I was doing the splits on the skates.
Yeah.
If you could call it the splits.
Yeah. That looked difficult, to be honest.
Yeah.
That looked like hard work.
It was hard work. It was quite a core workout. It was definitely a core workout. I was training in TRX. I do my TRX class, my ballet class, and my yoga. That's the three that I do to get in shape for a video where I've got to be a fat guy.
Yeah. Well, so we did do that. My close personal friend Alex Savage wrestled yesterday. And he was in the fight of his life against Niwa, the Savage. So it was Niwa.
So Niwa, the Savage, is the one that's a big established one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's been wrestling for 15 years. He's wrestled all over the world, UK, Mexico.
And where's he from?
Originally from New Zealand.
Right.
And he has just happens to be back because of coronavirus, basically.
Yeah.
So he sort of came back over here to wrestle while all of those things, while that whole global pandemic thing
blew over
down. Yep. So it was Niwa, the Savage, versus a Savage, Alex Savage.
Mm-hmm.
Savage versus Savage.
Mm-hmm. Is that how they build it?
And it was a very fun match, according to my close personal friend.
Yeah.
He did get beaten within an inch of his life.
So he didn't win that one.
He was victorious.
Oh, he was.
He won the match and beat the veteran.
Was this for anything?
No.
Any type of
only for king and
street cred.
For Queen and Country.
Yeah,
King and Country.
Yeah.
Biggest win of his career, Alex Savage reigning supreme.
Yeah.
So that was.
I'll pass along my congratulations to Alex.
I'll let him know that. And he just wanted to let everyone know that he's in quite a lot of pain today. A lot of physical pain after that encounter.
Just the muscles, or
the
bruising?
Muscles,
is there going to be some contusions?
Some contusions for sure. Definitely some contusions. Bruising and muscular issues, a lot of things. The hip is also quite sore. He's had 2 hip surgeries. One of them is quite sore.
The second one or the first one?
The first one.
Ooh, that's the worst one.
Well, the first one is the worst one.
Yeah,
So
well, that's what I mean.
I've not really had any issues with the second one since these operations.
Yeah.
But the first one is sore from time to time, which is a very bad sign. It's a sign that things could have to change. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but the last time that I saw the doctor about it, he was like, here's the emergency contact line for hip surgery.
Yeah.
Like, as in, he's like, look, because
He's
I
like,
know.
you're fine. Here's the emergency line,
So
by
if
the
you're
way.
ever having real problems, you need to contact this.
Yeah.
This bypasses the whole 1 month to 2 month wait and appointment period with a specialist. You contact.
Was he just a GC, or was it just things that serious?
I think he was like, if you start getting into serious pain, you can't wait this period of time. It's better that we see you quickly just to assess. So he gave me, like, I didn't even know they had that line. You know, that to me is
well, that's
like,
the point, right? They don't want everybody
they don't
to know.
want anyone to know.
Yeah.
I've got that communications to make that direct booking should I need to.
A video that I'm in is going viral on TikTok at the moment. I've had a few people send it to me. It's unfortunately not uploaded to my TikTok, which you can go find me by searching Harley Neville NZ, I think. But it's not on my TikTok yet, but it's from Only in Aotearoa, a show that I acted in, and it seems to be going around, going viral at the moment. It's the caption I saw it with was, when the Māori manager meets a male Karen, and I'm playing the male Karen, and in the skit I'm acting across from the Māori manager who's she's I don't know, assertive and stuff like that. And it's funny. It's a funny little skit. And so, yeah, that's out there, and that's getting lots of views on TikTok apparently, and people are sending it on through. And none of that's going to me. None of that's going to me. It doesn't have my name on it. I'm not tagged in it. It's just my face out there. It's just like the half hairy meme all over again. Lots of people see it, but there's no link back to me.
NFT.
Yeah, I do have an NFT of it though, of my half hairy man NFT. But the thing about NFTs, right, is that, and I shouldn't really say this on the show because someone will just go and steal it, but basically I don't really understand how they work. And so I have created an NFT of my half hairy meme. I've done it, I've registered it, I've paid for it.
It's in the blockchain.
I had to use some of the Ethereums. But what the fuck do I know? Like, what's to stop somebody from going out there and taking all of the other versions of my half hairy meme and like NFTing them, or just NFTing the same meme again or something like that? Like, I don't really understand how all that shit all works. But I mean, it's the Wild West out there on the internet at the moment. It's a fucking free-for-all. What happens if I NFT my half hairy one, but I didn't do it right? Or what happens if I NFT my half hairy one and then somebody takes the Snail Trail from Hell version of it and NFTs that, which has actually arguably been seen by more people? So what happens then? You know, I don't know how any of this shit works. But yeah, I do own the NFT though.
Well, you need to NFT all of them.
Well, exactly, right? So I just need to go out and NFT all of them before one of the 5150 does it. The 5150 listeners.
Well, yeah, or just, yeah, that's, I mean, it looks...
But the thing is, it costs money, right? So I'm spending good money I'm spending Ethereums. I'm spending my Ethereums,
I really
guys.
think there's so much negative pushback on NFTs.
Yeah.
That they are not going to survive.
Yeah. But there seems to be
judging the lay of the land at the moment.
What if an NFT though? What if this metaverse really does take off? Because what's the next incarnation of the internet? What's going to happen? To me, it's already happening, and we can see the logical conclusion is that we are probably going to have some sort of glasses or implant or whatever it is. That means that we interact with the internet in a 3D environment such as this. So right now we'd be here, except for instead of having to look at your big ugly computer in the screen, the restream chat bar would be up here. It'd be like a hologram that you and I can see through our glasses or whatever, right? And so you go, oh cool, well that's great. So there's this metaverse, and what happens in it? Well, what happens in it is you need stuff. And so you're like, cool, well I've got this sweet NFT hat, or the sweet NFT other things, that you use within this metaverse, right? And then if that's the way it works, And if that's the way it's going to go, like 50 years from now, not going to be doing it like this. So how are we going to be doing it? Maybe with these NFTs. Maybe this is a gold rush. Maybe you need to be buying up NFT real estate right now while it's basically free. And then you're like, wow, those guys got really rich during the NFT boom of 2022 or 2030.
Tech has an adoption period.
Yeah.
It's all about that adoption period. And I feel like this baby
is being aborted.
Being thrown out with the bathwater.
Yeah. Nobody wanted to adopt this one.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there are some big companies involved, like the NBA and shit.
Justin Bieber. Justin
NFTs.
Bieber's dropping a lot of money on NFTs.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg. But to me, a lot of it is kind of like there's people like you trying to NFT their work.
Yeah.
And then there's super rich people collecting or NFTing their work. And not much in between. And also a lot of pushback on the concept of NFTs, which is valid because it's kind of like there's a lot of stuff where it's like, yeah, so what do I actually own here?
Yeah.
But it's not so much what do I own here, it's like, but why do I give a fuck that I own it? And I think that's the big thing. It's like, yes, I do own it, but what the fuck does that mean? Like,
but I mean, I get that, but what about like, why is it any different than the Mona Lisa? I own it, but what the fuck do I own? Everybody's got a picture of it. It's the same shit. Everyone's got access to it. If you want to see the Mona Lisa, Google it.
The physical. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's the only difference is the physical aspect of it. So you physically own it, but what's it physically made of? It's physically made of canvas and wood and paint, right? It's physically not actually useful for anything. It's physically not valuable in any way. It's the image, the art is what's valuable, and I guess it's valuable. It's valuable because of the price we put on it. We say, well, it's the only one. It's the original one,
and the price put on the physical nature of owning that thing from that time and that piece of history.
Well, it's true that you can't put your NFT on the wall. Imagine if you had the Mona Lisa in the lounge.
Yeah, and I think that's the
Chicks would dig that shit. Tell you what, you'd be popular on Tinder.
That's the real issue,
You'd be getting art babes.
That is the real issue.
Beatniks.
So, yeah, I think
you'd be getting beatnik booty calls.
Yeah, there's definitely some issues just around that of like, how do you contextualize the non-physical nature of them? And then without...
They become physical in the metaverse.
Without that non-physical nature, who gives a shit?
But you own the Mona Lisa NFT, and I walk into your house, your real life house, right? And I'm wearing my glasses, and I look on the wall, and Jesus Christ, there is the Mona Lisa NFT. This guy is rich. This is a rich motherfucker. This is the original NFT of the Mona Lisa. And he's got it in his lounge, and I'm physically in your lounge, right? And I'm like, shit. And I take off my glasses, and it disappears. But still, the point is, if I walk into someone else's house with my glasses on, they don't have the Mona Lisa NFT. They've got a poster of the Mona Lisa. It's different.
Yeah, it is different, but also so is the metaverse version where you're like, whoa, this is a cool hologram.
Yeah, sweet hologram, bro.
Sweet hologram.
How many millions did you spend again on that?
Yeah, and it's the same. You walk in.
But it's also pretend money, right?
Yeah.
We're using Bitcoin and Ethereum.
But you walk in and you see this beautiful woman, you're like, damn, your wife is smoking. And then you take off the thing and there's no one there. And you're like, oh.
Well, I saw
that's not physical. That's not real. I don't put any value on that hologram. I'm sorry. I thought you'd done well for yourself.
Yeah.
You just built this
You've
thing.
got an imaginary girlfriend.
Yeah.
Well, I did see that they were NFTing girlfriends the other day. I read an article. I saw it. To be fair, I didn't read it. I saw the headline. And it was that they had NFT'd a series of girlfriends. And basically they were artwork of women, like kind of like, cartoon artwork of female characters, and you could buy them, but they were girlfriends. They were bought to be girlfriends, not just a collector's card type thing. So yeah, that's that. Same thing. Same.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know about this whole NFT thing, but it's not where I'm going to be putting my money just yet.
Well, the thing is, I don't think there's any... I wouldn't buy NFTs. Like, I'd be like, oh, I wish I had that Mona Lisa NFT. But what I would do is I NFT my own content. Like, if I can just own all of my own content or everything original that I make, you NFT whatever and then sell it or keep it or whatever, that kind of makes sense. I mean, I wonder if you could NFT an episode of the Guy and Harley podcast and then be like, hey, so you got it, Tyler Adams, you own it. You own that episode of the Guy and Harley podcast. You can't take it off YouTube. You don't make any money from it. You don't do anything with it apart from selling the NFT. You might make money that way, maybe. But, but yeah, congratulations. Now give us that Ethereum.
It's a bit of a, what do they call it? A prospector's market, I suppose.
Exactly, the gold rush.
In that you're kind of, though, banking on all these dumb, worthless NFTs that don't mean jack shit, and you're kind of relying on the fact that, our podcast becomes the next Joe Rogan podcast. But if it doesn't, it was just a dumb piece of shit you wasted your money on.
It could happen with the number of N-bombs we drop on this show. So we never know. We might become the Joe Rogan podcast.
Jason P. Diddy Combs had some interesting thoughts on that.
Yeah.
And he shared a couple of podcasts where they sort of discussed that. Mm-hmm. And I listened to one of those podcasts and thought it was quite an interesting discussion. One very good point that they did make was that essentially, like, Oprah had on Jenny McCarthy, who was a
anti-vaxxer,
a notorious anti-vaxxer, and Oprah was like, "Oh yeah, it's wow, thank you for opening up our eyes," sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which is
the precedent has been set.
Yeah, like dangerous misinformation that she didn't push back on.
Also, Dr. Oz. Is it Dr. Oz? Yeah, Dr. Oz. She launched Dr. Oz as well. A notorious quack who has been giving out terrible, terrible medical advice for like a decade or more now. And she's responsible for that.
And
this guy who was
holding
behind
Oprah accountable
heaps of misinformation.
Like Joe Rogan. They're not.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point. But I just do think, and this kind of spirals quite well into jab chat, I think.
Yeah.
But I think there's an issue now. Like, this thing is growing and becoming worse. The people that listen to Jenny McCarthy now have kids that died of measles.
Yeah.
10 years ago they listened to her, their kid died of measles, or or just, whatever. But so the problems is that if you kind of, when you provide these platforms and you provide these things, if misinformation escalates and provides a tool for people to live in their own worlds, the bigger the platform, the bigger the tool, the bigger the space that you provide these people to not sort of, to kind of just believe whatever the fuck they want in a dangerous way.
Yeah.
And I just think that hasn't been addressed by anyone because the internet didn't really do this to begin with. And it's just a new thing. And it's a new thing. And then also now people take advantage of that misinformation.
Because they understand how it works.
Because they understand this whole thing that's going on, and they manipulate people and they kind of...
Into showing up to dopey protests outside of Parliament, for example.
Which does dovetail into Jab Chat, which is we have a group of protesters outside Parliament. It's like the 6th day they've been out there. And I don't think they're going anywhere, to be honest.
Well, you would only know they were there, or you wouldn't even know they were there if the fucking Herald would shut up about them for a second. The Herald is turning it into this big thing. It's like there's like 1,000 people there, bro. We had like fucking 5,000 people get the jab today. Stop talking about this non-event of these people camping on the lawn. It's like, we don't care. You're the only reason they're reporting on it is because it gets heaps of clicks. And it gets heaps of clicks because it's clickbaity bullshit. And it's all a big stunt. It's a big silly publicity stunt. And so it's extremely annoying to me that essentially the Herald is fanning the fire, and the other news outlets as well. It's essentially fanning the fire. They're like, hey guys, like
but they do have to cover it.
Oh, of course, yeah. Have a look at it. Fucking A. I mean, there's protests happen all the time. have we coverage of it? That's cool. But like, the other day there was a headline that was reinforcements arrive, and it had a depending on your definition of cool, a cool looking guy like on a motorbike doing a big burnout. And it goes reinforcements have arrived and they're burning rubber or something like that. And I was like, okay, this is literally fucking propaganda. What are you doing, Herald? What are you doing?
It's clickbait, isn't it?
Well, but they're making them look like as if they've had this huge reinforcements of like cool tough bikers or something, and it's like, what is this? What are you doing, Herald? You're fanning the flames of discontent, and these reinforcements wouldn't have shown up if the Herald wasn't reporting on it. But the Herald made a big deal about it, and now it's like, okay, cool. So these other goobers on motorbikes show up. Well, good one. That's your fault, Herald. I'm looking at you, editor of the Herald.
Well, I blame misinformation.
Yeah, that bitch.
In the sense that when we're talking about this problem, it's like you want to see some clear reflections of this. We look at the Capitol riots and we look at this protest as like a real good example of how these things just spiral further and further out.
Yeah.
And, the protests have been sort of accused of that there's a lot of different groups within it, all kind of thinking in different things. They're not kind of one entity.
Splintered.
But it does, like, I don't think they're going anywhere. I think they're going to be there for weeks, is what I think.
I don't. I think that, they'll be there for a little while, but basically they're going to run out of resources.
Well,
they're already shitting, all over the street, they've all got fucking athlete's foot and they're shitting on the street and they've got to dig trenches and the weather's turning. Like, this is not a good time of year. It's not like it's the beginning of summer. It's like the weather's turning and, a small percentage of them have jobs to go back to. And so...
Well, that's the problem. I think obviously a lot of these people were against the vaccine mandates because they've lost their job because they don't want to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Therefore, they don't have anything better to do. This is the problem, Harley.
Yeah, but they can't afford to stay there either.
Well, you say that. Why?
They've still got rent back home. They've still got rent, man. They're not. These are not homeless people.
That's being covered
by who?
By the government. That they're
because they're on the benefit
against.
or something?
Yes, they're all on the benefit.
They're not all on the benefit. Don't beneficiary shame.
It's not beneficiary shame. It's like literally what would happen for all those people that lost their jobs. They're on the benefit.
But they might be on the benefit.
So they're all on the benefit.
There might be a percentage of them on the benefit.
Like a large percentage. And so it's like, well, I got nowhere to be.
Yeah. I'm on the Benny.
I'm on the Benny. I got nowhere to be. So fuck you. Also, has my wins payment cleared?
Yeah.
Because I can't keep staying out here if I can't buy some snacks at the dairy.
If I can't feed my 6 kids back home. Because I don't believe in protection. So I've got 65 children and they're all hungry and they're all back home and my wins thing isn't going to cut it. I've got, I don't think they're going to stay there for that long, sleeping in the trenches. These are I
think they're digging in.
Nah.
I think they're digging in.
To be really honest, I think if it wasn't for the fucking Herald and the rest of them, this would be finished already. The only reason it's still going is because the Herald's making a big deal about it.
And also, actually, to be fair, a lot of these misinformation sites
promote it as well.
Dedicated.
But they promote all sorts of silliness.
But they're dedicated to the coordination of this event. And they help. So that's the problem, is like someone goes... I'm going down to Wellington. Anyone give me a hand? Yep. Contact these people.
Yeah.
They'll put you in touch with these people.
Contact these spastics.
They'll give you a ride down.
These spastics who shouldn't even be allowed a driver's license. They'll be drooling as they're driving down to Wellington, drooling at the steering wheel.
Well, I know 2 people front and center at that thing, and one of them
is a doctor.
I was going to say one of them started older.
I know you're talking about somebody who is. She's not down in Wellington.
She's going.
She says she is, but she's at a non-event in Auckland, sitting around.
She's going down to Wellies.
Yeah,
and she wants to be on the right side of history.
Yeah. Yeah, oh my God. Well, she fucked that up. It was easy. To be on the right side of history, all she had to do was nothing. That was all she had to do. To do fucking nothing. So she really shit the bed on that one.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. And because I follow a few different people.
Yeah.
The way they're talking
down alleyways, around corners.
Is very different, obviously, to our interpretation. But I do think it's this thing where, like, some people were genuinely just upset at being made to do something.
Yeah, being told that these people it's news to them that they're not free.
And also there's a lot of thing about control and who has control and who wants to believe that they have control of their lives when in reality none of us have very, very little control of our lives. We can control a few things, but there's a lot we can't, including global pandemics, including what you have to do when a global pandemic happens. And, it's also to do with your specialness and your place and how important you are. And the fact that everyone wants to believe that they're special and they're important and they're... unfortunately not.
No.
Especially the especially this group.
Yeah. yeah. These are especially
but it's all
unimportant
to
people.
do. It's all kind of grouped in with narcissism. It's group, and these are all natural human traits. It's to do with panic and fear about that not having control, and also the danger. What danger means, like danger for your family, danger for this, and how you react to that is you get online and fucking read a bunch of misinformation and then fucking pitch a tent outside Parliament. And not the good kind of pitching a tent either.
I can understand all of that, really. And I can see that for a lot of them, their heart is in the right place. And they really look at us and go, wow, those guys are really, really wrong and they're hurting humanity.
Yeah.
But the bit where they always lose me, I try to put myself in their shoes. But the bit where they always lose me is the bit where they say, I know better than the experts. I'm so arrogant that I'm not going to defer to people who have spent their careers working on this. I'm going to believe what I've read on Facebook from this page full of morons. And it's like, how can you be so arrogant to think that you know better than people who have actually learned about this stuff? And it comes from that. I think it's that small mind, small worldview type
narcissism
thing.
Yeah.
And they just think that they would know better. And it's like, that bit is where they lose me. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you know better? At least I can acknowledge that the experts know better than me. I could be an arrogant narcissist. Maybe I am an arrogant narcissist. But at least I can acknowledge that there are experts smarter than me who I should listen to about important topics such as life and death.
Yes, that's the thing.
The life and death of not just me, but other people around me.
I think it's fine to be distrustful of the government.
Yeah.
And not to be like, oh, right, well, we should just do it because they said so. But it's always the same. Well, why did they say so? Did they say so because this has been, outlined to them as the best course of action by a bunch of people who have spent 2 years working on this problem? And researching, okay, well then that's probably a good reason to trust this particular government initiative. And yes, I agree that you always, you definitely lose me at the I know better than these people, and you also lose
when they say they don't believe in it, or they go, well, actually, that's not true.
Yeah, I did also read someone say like, I can't get my cancer treatment because of the mandates. Because of the mandates and lack of resources. Like, no. No. We haven't lost all our doctors and we haven't lost everyone because of that. But there is an issue. It's the opposite thing is the problem. It's the pandemic and the people catching and spreading this virus and walking around and protesting. That's what's causing the clog up of the hospital system. That's literally what we've been talking about, trying to avoid this whole time. And you are at the center of it, experiencing this, and yet you have misconstrued and twisted this to be, this is why I can't get it. It's because we've lost all our good doctors and nurses because they didn't want to get vaccinated.
Yeah, but it's not that.
And that's that shift that people take where they're sort of like, let me put it in context of, my beliefs or these beliefs that have been misinformation, that have been bullshitted to me.
It's a ongoing human thing, right? Where, like, for example, for decades, poor Americans in the southern states have been voting for rich white Republicans for years, and it's like, well, wouldn't you rather vote for the party that is pro the people, not the rich white Republicans? But for whatever reason, that's not how they see it down there. That's not the way they think of it. It's like, okay, they would rather vote for Donald Trump, the guy who was born with a golden spoon directly up his ass and who's taken a shit, in a golden toilet for decades. The guy shit in a golden toilet, and we've got people here like who grew up poor in the southern states of, the southern United States, and voting for him as if this guy has anything in common with them, anything at all, or any regard for them. It's weird.
It is a strange thing.
It's the same mentality, and a lot of this comes about, not the Republican thing, but all of this protest stuff comes about from Facebook and other platforms, because basically we've emboldened and amplified and enabled the imbeciles to, unite. And it used to be that...
Well, Facebook has amplified them too.
That's what I mean. I'm talking about Facebook. Facebook is what's amplifying them. It's amplifying, and enabled these imbeciles, at the same time as giving them a platform. So it's given them a platform. So it used to be that the village idiot would just walked around rambling to himself rather harmlessly, and there would be a village idiot in every village.
Of course.
But they didn't get the village idiots together.
They couldn't unite.
They couldn't
concoct
they weren't
plans
organised
to stand in Parliament.
No.
Occupy the Parliament
based on whatever
grounds.
Fantastic nonsense was going on there, on in their heads that night. But now suddenly because of Facebook, these village idiots can post in groups and get together in these groups online and then organise and have real world negative effects on the actual real world as a result of Facebook uniting the morons. And so, it's sort of created this, self-reinforcing community of dimwits that, spread, and they're like a new religion. Their job is to spread, and what they do is they go, oh, now, hey man, have you heard the word? The word is that 9/11's out. Vaccine hesitancy's in. And also Flat Earth is out. We're done with Flat Earth now.
Those conversations.
Yeah, white supremacy and God, we're still negotiating.
There's still values that we hold dear to the structure of our beliefs.
Yeah. So, soon enough, this is the problem with democracy, right? Is that soon enough, the asylum's going to be getting run by the patients. And this is why we need to have some sort of political IQ test before you can vote. And I'm not talking about something that like discriminates or excludes certain groups or anything like that. I'm saying that like you've got to, before you can vote, you go, who is the current prime minister? What party do they belong to? What are the beliefs of that party? What do they stand for? Who is the leader of the opposition? What is their party and what do they stand for? What are the other ones? And you basically go through and you do a test and you answer them all. And as long as you, kind of are correct on what is actually going on, then sure, you can vote. But if you can't really even keep up with like who's doing what and who's responsible for what, or literally how government works, that's what you can tell from these protesters. You can tell they don't understand how government works. They're like, what? They think they can just march on down there and like end the mandates, and I don't know, it's all a bit silly. And it just shows that they don't really understand the process of how these conclusions were come to.
It is weird because they're like, we're going to stay here until, we negotiate with the prime minister to end these mandates.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, the only way that the prime ministers don't come out to do that
That's literally not how it works.
They can't come out and have a chat to you and then change their mind about something.
What you need to do, mate, is you need to become a local politician and then work your way up.
And
get followers, begin to represent people, and then move your way up through the chain, and then you can have direct contact to the prime minister.
Or even simpler though. So what if that's the outcome that you want? You need to look at all the members of the different governments, different parties that want to be elected into government, and choose ones that align with that. Like, I'm sure a couple of them are like, yeah, we're going to end mandates. We don't believe in mandates.
Yeah, well,
I don't think Nationals ever said that.
No, they're not. They haven't. And but I think the Māori Party might have. I had to unfollow them. I was like, oh. Oh, shit. I didn't realize you guys were on the wrong side of history. So I had to unfollow them, and here I was.
Yeah.
Otherwise, a supporter.
So, you
not in my vote, but
you find that group, you vote for them in the next election, and then if enough people believe what you believe, they will also vote for that party, and that party will come into power. That party will go, there you go. This is what we said most of the time. Sometimes they'll go, there you go. You wanted these things. That's why you voted us in. So we've made that change. And this will only happen if there is enough of you. If there's not enough of you, it won't happen, because guess what?
No, we don't. Not everybody wants it.
Yeah.
You lost.
It doesn't work just because you want something and
guess
you
what?
feel special.
No participation trophies in this game. There are no participation trophies. Your party gets in or it doesn't.
Yeah. And you can do things to kind of help promote that as well. You can support the party. You can give money to the party. You can go and campaign for the party. You can get out there and knock on doors.
See, they don't. This is what I mean. Political IQ test. Political IQ test. They're probably listening to this down at the protest now, and they're all writing notes, and they're like, shit. Wait a minute, is that how it works?
Better get home.
Oh fuck, I got to get home quickly. I'm all covered in mud and feces.
So yeah, we're dealing with that. But look, Canada's dealing with it as well.
Yeah. No, lots of places are dealing with it.
Yeah. And
It's like the cockroaches. You know, cockroaches are international.
It is interesting though, because the way I look, like their again, it's perceptions, right? There's the majority perception that is like, so what do we have to do to kind of be as safe as we can and get on with life in this pandemic? What do we have to do? What are my steps that I have to do? Take some vaccines, wear a mask, scan in.
Yeah.
I have to do those things.
Yeah. Gosh, what a nuisance.
All right, it's annoying to wear a mask, but okay, why do I have to wear a mask?
It doesn't even really bother me anymore.
Well,
only bothers me when I forget it.
You have to wear a mask for these reasons, and it's blah blah blah. And you go, okay, I've got to do these things to get on with it. Fuck, let's get on with it then.
Yeah, let's get it done.
Let's reduce. I want to stay living. Let's reduce the risk of me dying and anyone else.
If only we could turn back time to 2020, we would all just stay still for 6 weeks, just like the government said, because the virus doesn't move. It's the people that move the virus. So we'll just all stay still for 6 weeks. We'll stay at home and we won't have a pandemic. If only we could go back and do that. No vaccines, no mandates. You fucking idiots. This is the problem. These same people, it's the same fucking people who couldn't sit still for 6 weeks. They couldn't sit still for 6 weeks to keep the virus at bay. And then now they're complaining. Then they complained about the level system, level 4, level 3, all the rest of it. And then we get to basically level 3. And then we go, all right, cool. Well, we're going to get vaccinated. And people who don't get vaccinated can stay in level 3. And people who do get vaccinated can have, a bit more freedom. And we're going to try this new system for people who want to get vaccinated because we need to minimize the chance of you murdering your fucking grandmother. And so
we need to minimize the murder of grandparents in 2022.
Exactly.
And 2021, 2022, we want to keep the murdering of grandparents to a minimal. So we would like you to get this vaccine.
Exactly, right? And then so those people...
You might still accidentally murder one, but
again, obviously, but at least we've minimized the chances.
We've taken the precautions.
We've taken the precautions, minimized the chances.
We've minimized the risk of murder.
Exactly. It can still happen. Absolutely, it can still happen. It's still a global pandemic. But not if we actually got rid of it, though. If we actually got rid of it in that 6-week lockdown where no human went and fucked it up for us, we might not actually even be murdering our grandparents anymore. But those same people don't want. They're the same. These people out the front of Parliament are the same people who couldn't sit still for 6 weeks, who then got to level 3, that weren't happy about that shit, and then we say cool. We say we're going to do vaccines instead, and they, instead of saying cool, sweet, that'll get us out of level 3, they then say no, we're not taking the vaccine, and we say all right, cool, we'll just stay where you fucking are then. You can't go get a coffee, but whatever, just get on with your life. That's fine.
You can get a coffee
right?
takeaway.
You can get a coffee takeaway. Exactly. You just can't. You can't dine in anymore. I'm sorry about that. Your choice, your personal choice, means you can't dine in with the rest of us because we're all trying to, minimize the chance of murdering our grandparents. And then that wasn't good enough for them. Not good enough. They're like, no. So we say no vaccines. They say no vaccines. We say, cool, no vaccine for you. Fine, you win. No vaccine for you. You don't have to have a vaccine. You just can't come and have a coffee with us. But they can't, that's not good enough either. So now they're at the front of fucking Parliament, pissing and bitching and moaning about, first, about staying still, second, about the level system, and then third, about the fucking cure, or the closest thing we have to a cure, in this real-world instance of a global freaking pandemic, which is out of the control of all governments worldwide. So I don't know, these fucking people, and it's like, okay, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, nah, these people are either really dumb or emotionally immature, where they just can't accept the fact that they're not the middle of the world, that they're not the center of the universe, and that they're not as special as they think they are, and that also this idea that they're not free. They thought they were free. These people thought they were free. They're living in a society where you can't take a shit in the middle of the street because that's against the rules, right? If you take a shit in the middle of the street, you go to jail. That's not freedom. Freedom is shitting anywhere you want to.
Whenever you please.
Whenever you fucking please, right? Okay, we're not free. We've never been free. You weren't born free. If you, yeah.
But those people have all, you've got those two people, but you've also got the group of people that have simply chosen to believe misinformation over real information. Not chosen.
Motivated by the same thing, right? They're motivated by the subconscious fear of realizing how insignificant they are.
Or I think they're motivated by, some of them, yes, absolutely. But some of them are motivated by the idea that they need to be, no, I'm good. They're motivated by the idea that what they want to be true should be true, even though it's not. And that's the issue, because then when you buy into that misinformation, because you go, I don't want this vaccination to not be 100% effective.
I know, it's like,
I don't want...
But it is.
Yeah, I don't want the vaccination to potentially have side effects for a few thing. I don't want to wear a mask everywhere. I don't want to have to choose vaccine or a job. And so all those I don't wants become, I must find why. And then unfortunately the misinformation goes, and here you are.
Yeah, here's
here
why.
You go. Here's this.
Why.
So
because
you
the
don't
government's
have
out to get you.
Yeah, you don't have to buy. It's all a conspiracy. You don't have to buy into any of it. Let us present an alternate reality to you, and that is the big concern. Because if they weren't presented that alternate reality, they could go, I don't want. But I suppose looking around at everything,
no
all
choice.
I see is
Looking at my peers.
the reality. So I have to accept reality. Unfortunately, misinformation presents that different reality for people. And
It's like the
and
Bible.
here we are.
It's just like the Bible, mate. It's just like the Bible.
Shit, here we go.
It's exactly the same as the
God,
Bible.
Here we go.
The misinformation
Clip this out.
represents a false alternative reality that's not as mean as the one that actually exists. And you can hide away in it. You can hide away in it in your various religious beliefs or your belief in the conspiracy. These conspiracies are closely related to religion in the sense that while they might be bad, you're like, oh no, like the government is out to get me specifically, and that's a bad thing. But at least it provides that individual with an authority, an omnipotent authority, and it kind of fills the gap of God where you're like, well, there's, something is, because it's very scary for a lot of people to think that the world is completely out of control. It's a dump truck on fire careening down a hill, completely out of control. And that's reality, and we can't all control everything, and even the most powerful person in the world can't control what's going on. But that's too scary for a lot of people. So they turn to religion, or they turn to conspiracy theories and other things like that create this, big bad omnipotent being of the government that can control, their lives, but at least it's in control. So,
Yes, absolutely.
I'm actually getting, speaking on this topic, I'm getting attacked by anti-vaxxers on Facebook.
Left and right.
On Facebook for posting a well-written article about why it's okay for the police to remove the protesters if they violate the trespass laws. And all I did was I shared an article from a mainstream newspaper saying people like this are the most depressing thing about the pandemic. And then so today, one of my friends, air quotes, friends, who I don't know in real life, took a screen grab of that and shared it to her page saying, and what she said, she goes, actually I've lost actually what she said, but basically she shared it on her page and saying that I was like a tyrant, and that I was oppressing the weak, and then she messaged me, but I blocked her after that. I was like, oh fuck this bitch, and I blocked her, right? But then she had already messaged me and I didn't realize that, so I haven't answered the, she's still blocked, but I can see what she sent me. So she screen grabbed it and she goes, "Noted, you're a self-serving, fame-hungry human." Okay, so firstly,
I was going to say, well, she got part of that right.
It's partly right. I mean, the best misinformation is based on a kernel of truth. And of course, what I mean is not that I'm fame hungry, but that I'm self-serving, because we're all fucking self-serving. That's how it works. We're all individuals, and that's how we survived. But we also work together. But there's an element always of self-serving stuff. And the fame hungry bit, I was like, okay, look, that's fair. But what the fuck does this post have to do with it? This post, I didn't post this post being like, I'm going to post this article about why it's okay for the police to remove trespassers, in order to get famous.
Yeah.
If anything, if I wanted to get famous, I'd be posting pro-vax shit and getting all these pro-vax nut jobs to share my shit. And so that's, that doesn't make sense. And then she goes, "This will not be forgotten. You're on the side of tyranny and belittling those who fight for basic human rights. What's it like to be that narcissistic?" Whew. I wish I could say that it hurt my feelings, but it didn't. I think it's funny that she's calling me narcissistic, fame hungry, and self-serving. That doesn't sound like me at all. It doesn't sound like me at all. So she's obviously completely deluded.
Couldn't be further from
She couldn't be further from the truth. She's completely deluded.
Way off base, lady.
Way off base. But I mean, I thought it was pretty silly. Those who fight for basic human rights, get the fuck out of here. You've got all of your rights, you stupid. What do you want about? You've got all of your rights. You don't even have to get a vaccine. You've got all of your rights. The only right you don't have is the right to go and have a coffee with a bunch of vaccinated people in an establishment. That's not a right. It's a fucking privilege. It's a privilege, and you don't have it because you're stupid. So
yeah,
I blocked her anyway. She's gone.
She's gone, except for where I
considered replying, obviously.
Glorified her on the podcast.
Well, I didn't say her name. But we did spend the last 40 minutes talking about her cause.
Yeah.
So I guess there's that. Well, you got something there?
Well, I was just going to mention, because you talk about this, like, there's also this guy who's doing Migrated Venture, which was originally about basically about anti-addiction and anti-P messaging, and he was sort of traveling around sharing his story. And now he's just been down at the Capitol for like the last 5 days because it's getting views.
And why were you following
I think he
a
messaged
guy
me
about recovering from P? You're like, man, I need to be reinforced.
I need to figure out how to recover from this.
I need to figure out how to recover from this P addiction.
Important. I need to get over this P addiction, basically. I mean, that's how
It's
I stay
ruining my
up so
life.
late editing.
Until 5 in the morning with the cockroaches.
I think he originally messaged me once upon a time.
Right.
And then invited me to follow the page. So that's how I'm part of this thing. But essentially, he's just been stuck down in Wellington, and he says that he doesn't have a political stance.
Right.
He doesn't want to be political. He doesn't want to take a stance. But let's just, but he's there. But let's just document what's going on. You know, let's talk to some of these people. Let's go around, and it's like, okay, I'm not sure what this has to do with the original message and goal of your page, which was to, eliminate P and help those with addiction. What the fuck has these protests got to do with that? And sadly, the answer is they get views. They're incredibly popular. People want to see a dude walking around talking to all these protesters. And so that's what he's doing now day after day. He's just going down there and kind of sharing this thing and quote unquote remaining neutral on the subject. But in fact, is not really remaining neutral at all. And may in fact potentially be an anti-vaxxer himself. So it's just kind of funny to see, because that's the perfect example of someone that is neutral and someone that is, hey, just covering what's going on, but is actually making money and profiting extremely off these people, essentially.
Yeah.
Off these people.
Well, that's YouTube, right? That's how it works.
And that's the example. That's what people kind of don't understand. They think he's just this good dude down there, amongst it, mucking in, having a chat with the locals and seeing what's up.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. That's not what he's doing. I mean, he's doing that, but he's doing that because he knows people are watching, and the more people watch, the more that, the more likes, the more follows, the more subscribers, the more this.
The more
and it's
money.
like, so essentially it's not about those people down there. He is, to some degree, exploiting those people down there for his own
Presumably
self-serving. What was the other things they said? Self-serving, narcissistic. What was it? Self-serving, narcissistic, fame-hungry.
Fame-hungry. Yeah, that self-serving, fame-hungry, narcissistic.
Yeah, so again...
Side of tyranny. I'm on the side of tyranny.
Yeah, well...
He's not.
Well, he's not on the...
He's on the side
He's on the neutral side.
Neutral.
He's the side of making money off it.
Yeah.
Which is not the same. So, yeah, it all just seems like... And there's a lot of that going on. So, it's interesting that... I thought for sure you would have responded to that lady that screen grabbed your thing.
I mean, here's the thing. Firstly, it's already annoying. Like, I've basically started withdrawing from even commenting on these topics, because on the one hand, I've got a lot to say and I want to say it. But on the other hand, I don't want to receive notifications for the next 72 hours from all of these, not just the people who are like, yelling at me, but just in general, like nothing to do with, these people that don't like what I'm saying, because a lot of people comment saying they do like what I'm saying, but you know, all of it is like, I just don't want to be hearing about this article every 5 minutes for the next 72 hours. You know how many times I've seen this article now? That's a bit of one of the tricks, right? Is make sure that if you're going to post something like that that's kind of controversial, make sure it's a good article that is kind of supporting your cause, because that way every single one of these anti-vaxxers that comments on my post is actually promoting an article which promotes my point of view.
Yeah. So
that's great. Like, I'm like, cool, all right, well, thanks for the boost, dudes. You know, like, you're fighting for the enemy now, essentially. But yeah, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it for 72 hours. And so it's getting harder and harder to give a shit. And so basically it's like, okay, cool. Well, this person is a nut. She has publicly shared, taken a screen grab and like named and shamed me to all of her nutty anti-vaxxer mates, and then now she's messaging me, and it's like, I blocked her before before seeing her message. So I really feel like there's something quite satisfying about that, because I don't know about you guys, but I've been blocked. And the harshest thing about it is like, they block you before you can even say anything, or so it's kind of like, it's just like, you are literally so far beneath me that I'm not even going to deign to respond. I'm just going to block you immediately. And I feel like that is really actually the best course of action. So rather than fighting, especially because she didn't even have a real name on there, she was like a made up name. She was probably a fucking fat middle-aged dude for all I know.
Yeah.
So there's just no point in engaging. It's probably a Russian bot or something.
Truth tellers.
Yeah. But speaking of going viral, this dude on the internet who's taking advantage of these dim-witted anti-vaxxers, and also the virus being viral and going around the world. So speaking of going viral, we are going viral again, because the Pigville channel has received more than 900,000 views in the last 28 days and more than 26,000 hours, not dollars, 26,000 hours of view time in the last 28 days.
We don't have to worry about our watch time this year.
No, it's all good. But the only problem is, so we could go over there and we can start doing the podcast on that channel. But the problem is that we're here on this channel, the Guy and Harley podcast channel. It's got a little over 1,000 hours of watch time in the last 12 months. So the other one's got 26,000 in 28 days. This one's got 1,000 in 12 months. That's 365 days, right? And so, and what we need to monetize this channel is 4,000 hours within that 12-month period. So we need to quadruple the view time on this channel in order to monetize it, so that when we do this show once a week, we actually make $5.
Well, and I did put it to the Sifty 150. Who did the 40 Chrome tabs open?
Yeah.
Who did it?
Well, don't let YouTube hear you say that. They'll be like, don't encourage people to do that. You're fucking demonetized permanently. But yeah, like,
I pitched them the strategy.
Make sure that the Sifty 150 listeners do hit thumbs up and do hit subscribe and hit the bell notification for our follow-up episodes.
50 episodes all at once in different tabs.
And if you're listening on the audio-only version, that's great, because maybe you're Nick Zalati and you're mowing the lawn and that's how you listen, or you're Wazza and you're driving and that's how you listen. I get it. But if you just, get the chance, do tune in on YouTube instead. Search for the Guy and Harley podcast on YouTube and watch us there. Even if you're a Twitch viewer, we love Twitch as well. But if you're a Twitch viewer and you want to help us, go over to YouTube and search and watch it there on YouTube until we get monetized. And then we'll build up the Twitch as well, because I want to get those emotes going. We've got exclusive emotes available on Twitch, and there's heaps of ways to monetize Twitch. But first, get the YouTube up and running. So wherever you are, please hit thumbs up and subscribe and watch us on YouTube if you can.
Well, I think we should be wrapping things up shortly, because I got things to do. And also, look, I just had a pre-workout for the podcast. I drank another pre-workout for the podcast.
Yeah.
But I mixed that with the gin.
Right.
And I don't think those are a good combination.
Well, you're either going to
Judging by the feelings in my body right now, I don't think it was a good combo.
You're either going to be drunk and hyper.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't be tired. I don't think one gin would make you tired. So you're just going to be drunk and hyper. Yeah, hyper. You're pretty and I like you. Well, you should maybe that use that for motivation. You'll just be like, write the next script or edit the next thing or, do the next thing or work on this damn admin.
Fucking get those,
work on your damn admin.
sort those Canvas courses out.
Okay, well, look, we will get out of here. I did have a couple of last quick topics. One is that tomorrow morning I've been asked to do an interview. It's actually a pre-interview interview to be on a documentary. Now, this documentary is about conspiracies, and
just
they want
play
to talk,
them this beginning at the end of this podcast, mate.
Oh yeah, I'll just send them this. No, and so they want to talk to me to see about what I've got to say about Pastafarianism. Now, as some of the longer term listeners will know, I am a Pastafarian. I have the Pastafarian driver's license. I've received my certificate of ordination from the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. So I am ordained, although I am not a celebrant. I'm not a wedding celebrant. I went 98% of the way through the process of doing that, and then my goal was to do the world's first Pastafarian wedding, and it got pulled out from under me at the last minute, and so I'd never actually got around to actually finishing it. I really should have, but I didn't, and so I'm not a registered wedding celebrant. Nevertheless, these people got in touch with me, and they want to do an interview tomorrow morning about Pastafarianism, and the only problem with that is I haven't really delved into the world of Pastafarianism for 8 years. 8 years or something. The Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster.
You did it for a fucking joke.
No, I am an ally of the ideology as well. Here's the problem.
You just wanted to put a fucking
colander
thing on your head.
Yeah, have you got a colander, by the way, Guy?
No.
Because I don't have one.
Oh, I had to double check.
I've got an interview in the morning. I've got to be a Pastafarian. I don't have a fucking colander.
Pretty sure my ex-girlfriend took it.
Yeah, typical. Stole it.
You know what really grinded my gears?
What?
As I was looking, so we had a bunch of these little Glad wrap bags that you can seal and you can put stuff in. So I put my frozen bananas in for freezing with my protein smoothies.
Yeah.
Look under the cupboard.
They're all gone.
You're joking.
You're joking.
She took the bloody
Glad wrap bags.
She took the bags.
She took the Glad.
She took the resealable plastic bags. Are you serious?
She left the dog.
Took the resealable bags. Can you believe this, guys? This is my life. You're bloody joking me. Well, you can't be serious.
So in the morning, Pastafarian interview, and I need to go and do some research on that and find a colander, apparently.
And which you won't be finding
at your house,
my
probably. Well, I really thought you'd have one. I was like,
I really used to.
She'll be right.
I really did have one.
Yeah. Well, I might have to go to the supermarket and buy a fucking colander.
Yeah, I feel like it's quite important
for this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the interview in the studio so it looks nice, and I might even cut cameras a little bit as well, just for fun. And so I'll be set up right here, and I'll do my interview, and the production values will be high. I'm sure they'll be keen, but I do of course need to read up, because they've given me a list of kind of questions, and they were referring to something that I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. They were like, what do you think of what happened recently in Mount Wellington? And then something else about Mount Wellington. And I was like, I literally have no idea what the fuck these people are talking about. I need to go and Google this.
You don't even know the rules.
Well, I mean, no, the rules are pretty basic. The rules of Pastafarianism are pretty basic, which are don't hurt anybody else, let people do what they want, do your own thing as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. It's relatively simple. That's what makes it a great religion. So, yeah, anyway, I'll let you guys know how that goes. That's in the morning. And then if I get it, then I'll be on some documentary. And when I say if I get it, I mean I will land an unpaid job to make a fool of myself on TV again.
A buffoon.
A buffoon of myself.
And probably be edited really weirdly.
Yeah, and I'll
make you
say
look like a
dumb.
fucking...
Well, especially if I don't really remember what I'm talking about, like in terms of like, if they ask me the rules and I don't really remember or something. Well, although I guess if I get the job, then I will have swatted up by then.
Well, yeah, but if, you want to enhance this whole looking like a doofus thing.
Yeah.
Put that fucking strainer on your head.
Yeah.
For the pre-interview.
Oh yeah, no. I'm saying I've got to have a strainer. I've got to have a colander on my head.
You're really committing to looking like a jackass again here.
They're going to expect me to have the colander on my head. Now look, I support the ideology behind Pastafarianism for sure. The idea, like you're not supposed to say this, and I can't. This is the problem. I can't say this in my interview because what it presents itself as is a real religion, but then what it really is it's an atheist movement to use the rules of religion against itself. So if you are one type of religion that allows you to wear a silly hat, I'm allowed to wear a silly hat too. Why? Because your rights and my rights are the same. So if you are allowed to wear a silly hat because of whichever religion you believe in, I too am allowed to wear a silly hat based on my personal beliefs. It's the same shit. And so the problem is you can't say that, because if you say that, then it doesn't work anymore, because you're admitting that it's not real. And they would never, the religious would never admit that it was not real. That, they have to wear the silly hat because that's what God says, right? They would never say otherwise. And so we kind of need to be the same. And that makes it difficult, because how do you explain to them that it's essentially satire and yet vehemently deny that it's satire if they were to ask you that?
Yeah, it's a real problem.
Yeah.
Tyler Adams just quickly asked, thoughts on Reacher? Loved the book, The Killing Floor, and always thought it would be dope to make it as a movie. They did one better and made 8 eps. You seen Reacher?
I've seen Reach Around, but never Reacher.
Too easy.
Too easy.
Low-hanging fruit.
Low-hanging fruit. You reach around and you grab the low-hanging fruit. That's what I do.
I haven't seen it either, Tyler, although I think that the guy is the main guy, and maybe he's an amazing actor, but in every like preview or photo or something I've seen, he looks like the most...
He looks like a big dumb guy.
Yeah, he looks it looks like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, he looks like a big dumb guy.
And he looks really devoid of the things that you would associate with Jack Reacher. And so, to me, that seems like a bit of a hiccup point if you've cast essentially a big dumb guy as the main guy.
Yeah.
But, we're projecting.
We are. We have no idea.
We don't really know. But there's something to do with the eyes. And there just really been nothing going on there. Those looks of intensity, just really nothing behind the eyes.
So did you see the trailer or did you see pictures?
Trailer and some there's a trailer and some pictures, and I wasn't paying attention.
Well,
I was just like, they made isn't this a movie, 2 movies with Tom Cruise?
Yeah,
2 middling movies with Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what,
Jack Reacher, never look back at these movies that you made.
Yeah. No, well, we mentioned earlier the music video where I'm hairy and bearded, and somebody, I think it was Tyler Adams, commented saying that, dad bods and beards are in now, right? Now, my dad bod and beard does allow me a certain following within the beer community, and so I have a bunch of Facebook friends who are beer lovers, which for the uninitiated are gay men that are attracted to hairy, often chubby men. Right? And so I've got a following amongst these beer lovers. Now, I have noticed on my Facebook that a lot of the beer lovers are actually quite happy about this new Jack Reacher situation, because they've been posting saying that he actually looks the part, because apparently he's supposed to be a really big dude.
That's right.
A big, strong dude. And then also that, what they expected from Jack Reacher was this big, strong, wrestler-esque physique, and what they got was itty-bitty wee Tom Cruise. Pint-sized Tom Cruise. And so yeah, that's what I've noticed that... the gay community that follows me, at least, have to say about Jack Reacher.
So the gay community are into it. Tyler, you have to weigh in whether it's worth a watch.
Yeah. All religions are evil. I'm an ordained minister of the Church of the Latter-day Dude. Good for you, mate. That's Sam Wheeler. Good on you, Sam. All right. Well, look, on that note, we better get the fuck out of here. But thank you very much for watching. It has been a lot of fun. Facebook.com/Guy and Harley, YouTube.com/Pigville and the number 2. Or if you want to support this podcast, search for the Guy and Harley podcast on YouTube. And that's a great way to support us at the moment, because we really want to get our view time up and get monetized. Patreon.com/Pigville. That's a big one. All of these links are down below as well. And and make sure you hit thumbs up and hit subscribe and hit like. And if you're listening on iTunes, write us a review and all of that stuff. And then also please go and check out our films. Go to olderfilm.com to see our latest one. It's a great movie and you really might enjoy it. And that would really help us and help the show as well.
Thank you very much, guys. We will see you later.